What if I told you that you were possibly sabotaging your finances and didn't even realize it? Like, what if the habits that you think are completely normal is the exact reason why you're still stuck and struggling financially? Like, these habits are so common because everybody is doing them that most of the time we don't even realize that that is what's holding us back. And I struggled with these habits for years, and that is why I stayed broke and in $70,000 worth of debt. So today we're talking about it. I am exposing the 5 destructive money habits that are sabotaging your finances. And I'm also going to show you how to replace these habits and move closer to financial freedom. And whatever you do, don't miss habit number 5, because it is the most socially acceptable way to justify staying broke. Yep. Let's talk about it. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to The Choice Life. Habit number 1, I matched my lifestyle to my paycheck. I put this habit first because it is so important to talk about because it is so sneaky. Like, I lived on my entire paycheck. And yes, your paycheck is meant to fund your lifestyle right now, but it's also meant to fund your future. Like, did you realize that? Because I didn't know that for years. So when I got my first job and realized how much I was going to get paid, in my head, I had already spent all that money. Like, it had already had, okay, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, I'm about to get this. Like, the money was already spent before I even got the paycheck. So if I was making $50,000 a year, then I was spending $50,000 a year. And, and honestly, sometimes more than that. And we'll talk more about that later. And I did not account for saving or investing at all. And I remember being asked if I wanted to contribute to my company's 401k when I first started. And I looked at that man like he was crazy. I thought he was trying to take something from me when he was asking me to contribute to my 401k. I was like, I already, earmarked all of this money for my spending. I ain't got no money to be putting in no 401k. I thought he was trying to take money from me. Y'all, we just gonna move past that. So how did I change this habit? Well, the first thing I did was learn the purpose of money. I learned that money isn't just meant to be spent. It's also meant to make you more money. Because when we're spending money, we're just consuming. It's just being consumed. The money, is gone once it's spent. But when you start investing your money, money has an amazing ability to compound on itself and grow if we just give it the time to do that. I also learned how smart people manage their money. So I remember listening to Clark Howard, who is a personal finance radio host, and he was talking about when he graduated college and started his first job, he lived on 50% of his income. And I was like, dang, that's amazing. Like, that was not my mindset at all. But imagine being able to live on 50% of your income and being able to save 50% of your income, especially at a young age. Because like I said, money has an amazing ability to compound if you put it in the right environment. So when you give your money enough time to compound, it's incredible how much it will grow. And I know you might be asking yourself, who can live on 50% of their income in today's economy? And I hear you. I definitely understand that it is very difficult in today's economy, but I think you might be missing the point. The point is not, oh, you should be, only living on 50% of your income. The point is just to have the mindset that you're going to save money. Whether you save 50% or even just 5% of your income, you're saving money. And however much or however little you're saving, that's way better than saving the 0% that I was saving. Bad habit number 2, lifestyle inflation. Not only did I spend every bit of my paycheck, but every time I got a raise, I felt like I deserved to be able to upgrade my lifestyle. There is a sense that we deserve nicer things when we start making more money. So, if you get a promotion, you might think, oh, okay, it's time to upgrade my car because I need to be, looking right. If I'm in this new position, I need to look the part, or I need to upgrade my apartment. Again, you're consuming your money. So instead of using your income to build your wealth, you are using it to create a more expensive version of being broke. And if your income drops or you lose your job, you're in trouble because your expenses are now so high. So in order to replace this bad habit, whenever you get a raise or a bonus, I want you to pretend that you didn't. Meaning, I don't want the first thing you do with that is to spend it or to, find something to buy. I want you to use that extra money and just put it to savings, put it to investing, put it somewhere that it will grow for you, because because I promise you, you're gonna thank yourself later when you start setting yourself up for the future. There's always gonna be something to buy. There's always gonna be a new purse or, a new trip or whatever. There's always gonna be something vying for your attention and for your money. But you need to set yourself up for the future. So when you get that raise, I want you to put it towards your extra debt payments, savings goals, and investments. And yes, you can treat yourself, when you get a raise, but the key is balance. So I want your future self to be able to benefit from this raise. Habit number 3, I ignored my spending habits. So when is the last time you looked at your bank account? Because I know that I used to totally ignore my bank account. I never looked at it. And I used to overdraft my account a couple of times a month, which made me even more stressed. And honestly, I just felt ashamed that I was so bad with money. So I just ignored thinking about money, talking about money. If there was bills that came in that I knew I could not afford to pay, I would just ignore them, leave them unopened, and I had a complete avoidant mindset when it came to my money. And I knew that there was something wrong with how I was managing my money when I would overhear my friends or coworkers talking about how they manage their money, like, oh, I saved this amount of money each month, or oh, I'm about to buy a house and I'm about to put down $20,000 as a down payment. And I'm like, okay, we make the same amount of money and I am nowhere near able to buy a house. I am nowhere near able to put down $20,000 to anything. And so I would just be like, wow, like they know something that I don't know. Like, how did they know to save money? How did they know that, they're able to buy a house? Like, I wasn't even in that mindset. Like, I didn't even have that concept of being able to make these, great financial decisions. And so I honestly just got so tired of feeling behind financially. And don't let social media fool you, because it'll seem like everybody out here got all this money. Like, people going on trips, people, buying all these things and have all these possessions. And it makes you feel like, well, man, they're doing great. And you go do the same thing because you're like, well, okay, if they do it, I want to live my best life too. And then you don't know that they might also be saving money. They might also be investing. And in 5 to 10 years, you look up and they just bought a house and you're still overdrafting your account. And I'm speaking from experience, y'all. Like, I'm telling you what I know. So that's why I'm exposing these habits, because I don't want y'all to get bamboozled. So now I keep a written budget every single month and I know exactly where my money is going. And I feel so much more in control of my money and my life. Things just make sense now. And it just gives you a sense of confidence, because you know that this one area of your life is taken care of. Habit number 4, I use credit cards as a paycheck extender. So like I said earlier, I would live on every bit of my paycheck. So there was never any money left for savings, meaning that if an emergency happened, I didn't have any money to put to that emergency. So if my tires blew out or something like that, I didn't have money to buy new tires in cash, so I would have to use my credit card. And not only that, not only would I use my credit cards as an emergency fund, but I would use it as a paycheck extender. So basically, if I only got paid $2,500 in that month, and I wanted to spend $3,000 in that month, my credit card was just that way to extend my spending. So my spending didn't stop at $2,500, where that's your hard stop. So your income that you make each month, that tells you, okay, you can't spend any more than this. But I was like, yeah, no, we about to spend more than that. And so I didn't have that self-control to say, okay, this is all we have and this is all we're going to spend. Because the credit card, it makes you feel free. It makes you feel like limitless, It makes you feel like the world is your oyster and you can just swipe and swipe and swipe. And that's what I did. So what I did to replace this habit was I stopped using my credit cards altogether. Once I made a decision that I wanted to get out of credit card debt, I stopped using them, because it makes no sense to pay down debt and keep racking it up again. So I stopped using the credit cards, and that is what I suggest for you if you currently have credit card debt. I decided that if I could not pay for something in cash, then I just wasn't going to buy it. So not only did I stop using my credit card, but I made a plan to slowly start to pay down all of my debt. So I used the snowball method to pay down my debt, which basically means you organize your debt from smallest balance to the largest balance, and you focus on the smallest balance first. And once you get that paid off, you go to the next and then the next, and it just becomes like a snowball effect. And now I am consumer debt free, and it feels so good to not owe anyone anything or have these banks ripping you off with these high interest rates. I mean, come on, it feels amazing. So I highly encourage you to take the mentality of, if I can't buy it in cash, I'm just not going to buy it. And if you do, I truly believe you will be so much further along than most Americans. Now, I don't go as far as Dave Ramsey says, where he doesn't use any credit cards at all. I do still use a credit card each month. I put all of my expenses on my credit card in order to get the cash back. But what I do now is I pay the balance off completely each and every month, so I never pay interest. Habit number 5, I had an I deserve it mentality. Have you ever said to yourself, I've worked hard all week and I deserve to treat myself? Well, that was me all the time. Like I said earlier, this habit is so destructive because it is so socially accepted. Like, your family and friends might even encourage you to have an I deserve it mindset. And when you start saying things like I deserve it without the cash money to go with that assertion, then that lets you know right there that you are self-sabotaging and you're trying to justify a bad money decision. Now, am I saying that you can never treat yourself or take a break? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is, if you're broke, then your definition of treating yourself should not involve debt. So instead of using debt to treat yourself, I recommend having a category in your budget for fun money. And that can be for whatever you want it to be, whether it's getting your nails done, getting a massage, going to Starbucks, multiple times a week, whatever it is you want, and however much money you want to put towards that in your budget. It could be $50, $100, whatever you decide. And ultimately, the purpose is you want to tell your money where to go. So if you want to be able to treat yourself each month, then just put it in the budget so that you can spend without guilt, but you also don't get off track with your long-term goals. And I want to go a little bit deeper with this I deserve it mentality, because not only will we say I deserve to treat myself, but we can also say I deserve what they have. And humans are very competitive and comparative by nature. So when we see someone that has something nicer than we have, we immediately start to think, oh, why don't I have that? I want that. And that's kind of where that, phrase keeping up with the Joneses came from. Like, we're comparing ourselves with what the person down the street has, or in these days, what the person on social media has. And we think, well, if they have it, then I want it too. But, it's very short-sighted, view, because we don't know what's going on in that other person's household, but we compare our lives to theirs and we feel like, well, if they have a better life than us, then I want their life. But when you compare your life with others and you don't know exactly what's going on in their life, you don't know what you're asking for, because you don't know what mountains they had to climb or what valleys they had to go through in order to get that life. So I want to encourage you to just be thankful for what you have. Don't compare yourself to others, and just live your life. And if this video has been helpful for you, then watch this video next, because it will make what I taught in this video that much more powerful. And I'll see you there.